Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World, and welcome back to the greenhouse. Starting to open up the greenhouse now that it is the middle of March, or just past the middle of March. We're only a few days away from the first day of spring. And it's about 82 degrees in the greenhouse right now. I had to turn on the fan and open the door because yesterday it was over 100 in here. So today we're going to talk about seeds that you can start planting outside earlier than your last frost date. And also making some homemade seed tape. Making seed tape is pretty easy. And of course I didn't bring enough paper towels, but this will get us started. All you need is some paper towels. You can also use toilet paper, but I find that that can be a little too thin. This is a little bit easier to work with without it ripping and stuff. So we'll use paper towels, but you can use toilet paper. You just might want to double it up, or maybe even triple it, depending on how thick your toilet paper is. And we are going to cut this into strips. And actually, I think to make this easier, I'm going to fold this over. If I can fold straight. Having issues here already this morning. All right, let's get you a better camera angle so you can kind of see what I'm doing better. It's hard for me to tell on the camera because it's so bright out here. But we're just going to fold this over and get, I don't know, 3 or 4 strips out of this good old Bounty toilet paper, or yeah, paper towels. All right, doesn't have to be exact, but that at least gives me some lines to work with here. And then I'm just going to take my dull scissors. Oh, they're working okay. We're going to cut these strips out. So there's our first strip, and I'm just going to start with one so that you can see what I'm doing and not have to watch me cut a bunch of paper towel strips. The next thing I've got is just a 50-50 mix of flour and water. This is unbleached bread flour that I'm using mixed with an even amount of water. And it makes kind of like a paste. You know, almost like that glue stuff you used to use in grade school if you were a Gen Xer, you know? Get those little bottles of paste. Anyway, so what we'll do now is put our dabs of paste on here. You don't need very much. This is just where each seed is going to go. You don't have to like spread the whole thing with paste, just little dabs. And we're going to start off with some beet seeds. I'll be doing several different types of seeds today, but we're going to do carrots, beets, radish, spinach, some other things. But the beets will be a good one for this example. All right, so we have our strip of paper here, and I'm just using a chopstick to get some of that paste on there. And I'm just dabbing some on the paper. Actually, let me move it over a little bit there. And my beets I want spaced, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches apart to give them room to grow. This way I won't have to thin them later. And you're just going to put a dab where each seed's going to go. Then I'm just going to take a beet seed and put it on the dab. I'm using tweezers for some of these smaller seeds just so it's easier to pick them up. So now we got all of our seeds in there on our little dabs, and now we're just going to fold this paper over, this paper towel. And as you fold it, just press it down a little bit. And that paste that you put on there is going to help it stick. You can let this dry and save it for later, But today what we're going to do is go put it directly out in the dirt. Okay, so I got a few strips of beets going on here, and I'm going to put these directly in the ground. Now with plants, this time of year, we're mid-March, so we are a few weeks away from last frost. But looking at the overall forecast for the next couple weeks, we have a lot of days in the 60s and 70s and like 40s at night for the most part, a few days in the high 30s. But the main thing is your soil temp. In raised beds, your soil temp is going to be higher than what's in the ground. And if you want to start planting some stuff early, there are some cold tolerant crops that you can put into the ground, especially if you have raised beds early. My soil temp right now is running, at least overnight, about 50 degrees. I brought out my little thermometer, put it in the dirt, and checked it early this morning. It was 37 degrees outside, but my soil temp was about 49 degrees, so close enough. And it's going to warm up even more over the next few days. So you can start putting in some of these early crops, things like radishes, carrots, beets, lettuce, spinach, those mizuna, those kind of things you can put in early because they are much more cold tolerant. As long as your ground's not frozen and you have some ambient soil temps of around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can put these in, and once the temperature is right, they'll automatically just start sprouting and go. Now, if you have, some weather come up that has like some hard frost or freezing temps, you might have to go out and cover them if they've already sprouted, but otherwise they should be good to go. So I'm gonna make some rows here with my trusty little Homi, and I'll post a link below. I did a video on this earlier this week, this cool little garden tool, and I'll also put a link below on where you can get one of these. But great little tool for making rows and whatnot. So I'm gonna do some rows of beets here and get started. One last point is, what's the point of doing the seed tape and going through those extra steps of mixing up the little paste and doing the paper towels and all that? Why bother? Well, one, you can save them this way. If you decide not to plant them right away, you can roll them up and keep them in a cool, dry, make sure it's a dry, dark place. After they dry, you wanna make sure the paste dries first, and then put them away for later, and then you've already got these strips of seed tape basically that you can put and plant right out in the ground that already has your spacing lined up the way that you want it, and you're good to go. You can buy seed tapes, but that's more expensive. Why not just make your own? And then you can kind of, if you wanted to mix and match vegetables or whatever, you can set it up however you want. So you can store them for later, or you can put them right in the ground, which is what I'm doing. I did these today to kind of show you how it worked. This is also really good for carrots, because carrots are, kind of hard to, the seeds are so small. And so if you kind of get it lined up on your seed tape first, it helps you so that you don't have to thin out carrots later, because thinning, one, disturbs the other plants around it. Two, you're wasting seed. And three, thinning attracts pests like carrot flies, which can do a lot of damage, because once you start thinning plants, that activates the terpenoids in there and puts that smell out in the air and basically tells the carrot flies or rust flies, whatever you want to call them, that it's dinner time. So that will help you avoid some of that as well. So let's get these planted. All right, so there you have it. There's some quick ways that you can get your seeds already evenly spaced with some seed tape, make your own by saving some money, and then you can plant it outside, some of the crops that you can do early on in the season before your last frost date is here. For me here, we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow, so this is gonna help settle that seed tape down into the ground. It'll start to break down, and when the seeds are ready, they'll start popping up and break through as that paper towel degrades and breaks away. And it's just a quick, easy way to plant some seeds and have them thinned. All right, whatever's going on in your neck of the woods, I hope you're out there playing in the dirt and that your garden stuff is coming along fantastic. But we will see you again soon. Have a great day. Namaste.